Episode 6 of The Mandalorian Season 3 is here, and are we in trouble, Star Wars fans?
I got a bad feeling about this.
With this being the third to last episode of this season, what was that? What's up, guys? It's Mike, a guy who loves Star Wars, and today we are breaking down Episode 6 or Chapter 22 of The Mandalorian. Talk about a filler episode. Tell me what you thought about this episode in the comments section below. Rank it out of 10 and smash that like button because we're going to break this episode down. And as always, I will tell you my ranking after we break down the video. So this episode opens on a Quarren ship. They're flying through space and an Imperial cruiser comes up behind them. They believe that this is an Imperial warlord, but we soon find out that it is Axe Wolf and Koska Reeves and their other Mandalorians. They have been hired by the Mon Calamari Viceroy to get his prince back. The prince of the Mon Calamari and this Quarren are in love and they ran away together, but the Mandalorians have been hired to bring the prince back. Now this was really just an opening scene to show us what those Mandalorians that left Bo-Katan have been doing this entire time. Then we see Bo, Din, and Grogu pulling up to Plazir 15, which is this planet that looks a lot like Mandalore with the dome over the city. They see the fleet that was once Bo-Katan's, but they get pulled away when they try to land by a tractor beam that is pulling them towards the city. They are forced to land and brought into the city by Imperial droids. Now these are reprogrammed Imperial droids, so don't get your hopes up that we'll be seeing Moff Gideon anytime in this episode. They get in this hyperloop that is like a tube that takes them all over the city, and it brings them to the capital. Bo and Din walk in the doors when they are greeted by the Duchess and Duke of this place, Jack Black and Lizzo. Now honestly, I love Jack Black, and I have actually honestly never even seen Lizzo in my life, so I had no idea that that was actually Lizzo. But if you're gonna have a filler episode, go big or go home. Jack Black and Lizzo were perfect. We learn a lot about what's actually going on Plazir 15 throughout the conversations between Bo-Katan, Din Djarin, and Jack Black and Lizzo. Jack Black's character was actually an Imperial officer who went through the amnesty program on Coruscant and fell in love with Lizzo, and they ended up on this planet ruling together. But because Jack Black's character was an Imperial officer, this planet cannot have any army or defenses inside the walls of the city, which is why they had to hire the Mandalorians outside the walls to protect them. But all the tasks in the city are being run by reprogrammed battle droids, and recently there have been some malfunctions. So they ask Din and Bo if they will help with this droid problem, and in return, they will get to go talk with the other Mandalorians. The two reluctantly agree. Grogu actually stays with Lizzo the entire episode, and they go off to find Christopher Lloyd. When people talk about cameos in Star Wars, this episode was a cameo fest. Christopher Lloyd from Back to the Frickin' Future is the guy who is in charge of the security team on Plazir 15. And his name is Hellgate. So Hellgate shows Bo and Din the footage of all of these droids malfunctioning. And Bo-Katan, the genius that she is, says, "Why don't you just turn off the droids?" And Hellgate has to tell them that the citizens in this city do not work. They are all in early retirement, and all the droids around them do all the work for them. So if they turned off all the droids, then nothing would get done. So Hellgate tells Bo and Din to go downstairs and talk to the Ugnaughts, who are the ones who program the droids. Now we know Din Djarin has had some history with Ugnaughts with Kuiil in the first season of The Mandalorian. So they talk to the Ugnaughts, and the Ugnaughts are like, well, yeah, it definitely wasn't our fault. So they give them a lead on where they think the next malfunction is going to take place. So Bo and Din go down to the docking bay where there are battle droids loading up some freighter. Din Djarin begins to mess with a bunch of these battle droids, trying to figure out which one is actually going to malfunction. And when he kicks one of them, they run away. It starts this crazy chase scene through Plazir 15, and it almost looks like Anakin and Obi-Wan chasing the shapeshifter in Attack of the Clones. Din ends up cutting off the droid, tackling it to the ground, and killing it. They find a spark pad on the droid, which leads them to a droid bar. Yes, a droid bar, where droids serve droids drinks that help their programming. So Bo and Din go to this droid bar where they find out there's a drink called Nebenthe that has been given to all the droids that have malfunctioned. So Bo and Din go to the laboratory, or to the morgue, where they see the battle droid that they just killed earlier, and they run experiments on its blood. They zoom in, and to their surprise, they see nanodroids. Now, nanodroids can be tracked, and they track them back to the security team, and more specifically, Hellgate. And when they go to confront Hellgate, he threatens to turn all the droids in the city back to their original programming as battle droids. He reveals himself to be a separatist and talks about how Count Dooku was a visionary. And before he gives his whole separatist spiel, Bo-Katan shocks him. They bring Hellgate before the Duchess and Duke, or Jack Black and Lizzo, and they banish him to the moon, and also give Bo and Din a key to the city while also granting them access to the Mandalorians. Oh yeah, and you can't forget, Lizzo just knighted Grogu. But one thing was made clear in this scene: this is not the last time we will see this planet. But Din, Bo, and Grogu make their way over to the Mandalorian fleet, where Axe Wolf is very reluctant to give the fleet back to Bo-Katan, so she challenges him to a one-on-one combat. In an awesome fight scene between Axe Wolf and Bo-Katan, Bo-Katan comes out on top. But Axe reminds her that no one is going to follow her because she won't take the Darksaber from Din Djarin. And that is when Din Djarin explains that Bo-Katan actually is the rightful owner of the Darksaber, because in episode 2 of The Mandalorian season 3, when Din gets captured on Mandalore and loses the Darksaber to the weird spider creepy looking creature, Bo-Katan comes in and saves the day using the Darksaber, meaning she is the rightful owner to the Darksaber. If I were to rank this episode out of 10, I would give it a 7.5 out of 10. For a few different reasons. If this episode happened at the beginning of the season in episode 2 or episode 3, it would probably have a higher score. But there are only 2 episodes left in this season, and this filler episode was in the wrong spot. And although we did end the episode with Bo-Katan getting the Darksaber back, all of that on Mandalore with the spider creepy looking thing, that happened 4 episodes ago. So we didn't have to have this crazy filler episode to explain why Bo-Katan gets the Darksaber back. But before you start going crazy because you enjoyed this episode and you liked it, I actually really enjoyed and liked this episode. It is just at the wrong time. There's only 2 episodes left, and it was just a bad timing for a filler episode. But it definitely was not a bad episode. But tell me what you think in the comment section below. Rank this episode out of 10 if you have not yet. Smash a like on this video if you liked it. Hit subscribe and hit that bell so you get notified every time I post a video. But like I said a million times in this video, there's only 2 episodes left in this season. So the next 2 episodes are going to have to be absolute bangers to get this season going. But if you want more videos like this, leaks and rumor videos, and of course, live streams every Tuesday, Thursday, and now Saturdays, stick around the channel by hitting that subscribe, and may the force be with you, always.